In the lesson 5.7 example, Is Rory McIlroy a long driver? We'll review calculating probabilities in a normal distribution. On the driving range, Rory McIlroy practices his swing with a particular club by hitting many golf balls. Let's let x equal the distance the ball travels on a randomly selected shot with this driver. Suppose x follows a normal distribution with mean 304 yards and standard deviation 8 yards. Let's find and interpret the probability that x is greater than or equal to 290 yards. When doing a normal probability calculation, the first thing you want to do is draw your distribution and clearly shade the area that you're interested in. So in this case, we'll draw a nice bell-shaped curve centered at the mean, 304 yards, and we'll label 1, 2, and 3 standard deviations above and below that mean. So we'll mark off by units of 8 in this case. Now we're interested in the probability x is greater than or equal to 290. So we'll draw our boundary of 290 on the curve and we'll shade above that since we're looking for values greater than 290. Now this is the probability we're interested in, and we can see here this is clearly more than half the curve, so our final answer should be something greater than 0.5. Next, we'll find this probability by standardizing this boundary value. To standardize, we calculate a z-score. We'll take the boundary value, 290, minus the mean of 304, and divide that difference by the standard deviation, in this case, 8 yards. That gives us a z-score of negative 1.75. Notice this value is below the mean, so we have a negative z-score, and it's between 1 and 2 standard deviations below the mean. So this value makes sense since it's between negative 1 and negative 2. To find the probability then, we can look up the value of negative 1.75 in table A, and then subtract that from 1. Now why do we subtract it from 1? Well, when we look at the value of negative 1.75 in table A, we get 0.0401. Now recall, the table gives the values, the probabilities below that particular z-score. So this is 0.0401. We're interested in the probability above that z-score, which is why we take it away from 1, for a value of 0.9599. Now we could also use technology. So for example, we could use the applet, or on our calculator, if we happen to have a Texas Instruments calculator, we could use normal CDF, entering the lower bound, 290, and upper bound far above the upper value on our graph, and then the mean and standard deviation. And again, we'd get the same value here of 0.9599. So what that means is there's about a 96% chance that a randomly selected shot with Rory's driver will travel at least 290 yards. For some additional practice finding probabilities in a normal distribution, try exercise 1.